that better? No, you're still blowing out. Hello, guys. Give me 1 second. We're having some. There's nobody in here, so we still got time. You're all blowing out, dude.
Record this, Brian.
I don't know if that makes it less blown out. Okay, cool. People can see you now. Oh, but I'm harder to see. Well, I'm either really darker. We got one person watching. Hello to our one viewer. Uh, could you throw a comment up the one viewer so we can see if it's working? Trying to test some things out, see how it's going.
Thanks for tuning in. Sports Live. This is our first ever. Really quickly, Brian, I'm interested to know how excited are you for the return of sports? Because this is something that I think the people have been wanting and they've been yearning about for months.
Yeah, man.
How
So
excited are you?
I'm really excited.
I'm excited. Can you tell?
I got my Raiders hoodie on, my Giants hat. I'm very excited. I love myself some sports. It's probably one of my number one passions. I'm really dark right now. My hair's kind of crazy, but I guess I'll take my hat off so you guys can see me. But yeah, man, it's been a long hiatus from sports. We haven't really had a lot of sports with the recent situation our world's in. It's been pretty crazy. So I'm excited it's all back and going as normal as possible, given the times.
Yeah. Yep. Same here. What were you doing during this time to fill your sports void?
I got into some esports, played some video games myself. For me, it was just kind of trying to find anything and everything to do. Sometimes it was like something as simple as, school kept up my time for a while, and then when school was over, it was hard, man. There was a lot of nothing to do for a while.
I was watching a lot of classic, ESPN classics, and I'm watching the old games and watching the reruns of some of the most recent NBA games. So it was a lot of fun for me catching up. I know everybody watched The Last Dance. That was a really cool one.
Yeah, I was just about to bring that up. I forgot about that. That happened during this quarantine. It looks like your picture is frozen on my screen, but your audio is still good, so we'll keep going. But yeah, The Last Dance was really cool, man. It was like you always hear the stories about Michael Jordan and how crazy like all those times were, but it was something different to just like watch it and see what they actually went through on like a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, definitely. So, obviously, you're a Raider fan.
Yeah.
Who are your favorite teams?
Okay, so my favorite sports are going to be baseball and football. So I'm wearing them, repping them. You can see my little light switch here. I got my Giants logo on it, right? So Giants for baseball, Raiders for football. Basketball, I don't watch basketball as much as football and baseball, even though I do enjoy it. But when I do watch it, I'm a Warriors fan. And I kind of dabble in a bunch of other sports outside of that. Like if I watch hockey, it'll probably be the Sharks. Occasionally, I'll watch golf. I love watching Ricky Fowler play, the Puma guy, all orange. I gotta keep repping the orange for my Giants, right? What about you? Where do you lean when it goes to sports?
Basketball. I'm a Warriors fan. I'm wearing my Curry jersey right now just because I'm excited. I know we're not playing in the bubble, but I'm too excited for basketball to be back. I'm way too excited. I know we're gonna talk about that a little bit later, but I'm also I'm an Oakland A's fan for baseball, and for football, I'm a Carolina Panthers fan.
Okay. The Panthers just went through some major changes this offseason. We'll probably discuss those more as we get closer to the football season, though. Right now, football's a way out, so
that hurts.
Maybe we can leave that off to the side. For some reason, the picture's all blown out. I wonder if I get off. Okay, it kind of focused better. Okay, it's a little better now. So yeah, we both have our what we believe in. I'm definitely more baseball oriented than you. You're more basketball oriented than me. We both enjoy ourselves a lot of football. So
definitely.
Maybe we can even start a fantasy football league with the viewers as we get closer to the season. We'll see. We'll see if that becomes a thing. What'd you say?
How many viewers do we have at the moment?
Right now we got one viewer. Our one viewer is carrying us.
Shout out to our one viewer.
I'm gonna pull it up on my phone, see if I can see their comments, or if I just can't see their comments here.
Can you give us a quick recap on the last Giants game?
Ooh, yeah. Let me turn the audio down. Yeah. So the last Giants game was last night, man. So they played the Padres this last series. They won one game, lost the other two. The two games they lost, they actually ended up getting beat pretty bad in. Oh, so I somehow have comments turned off. That's why nobody can comment. Interesting. I don't know how I changed that.
We'll turn those things on because we want to hear from the people.
I guess I have it set in like a kid mode somehow. So we have to.
Okay.
Interesting.
Continue, sir.
Okay, yeah. So the Giants, anyways, we have the Giants lost 2 games, took one in the series after splitting the series with the Dodgers, which was a major win for them, right? The one game they won, they were down like 5, and they came back behind Mike Yastrzemski and Donovan Solano, also known as Donnie Barrels. He's gotten that nickname from Giants fans because he's insane, man. He just barrels the ball up unlike anybody else in the league. And right now he's actually first overall, tied for first at least in the National League for RBIs, while in the whole league he's in second place. So it's really cool to see Donnie Barrels getting some national popularity because he's kind of been a hometown guy, a guy you know about if you're a Giants fan, but if you're not a Giants fan, you probably don't know who Donnie Barrels is. And we got Yastrzemski. He hit the walk-off home run. Last night, they tried coming back. They were down, I think it was like 6-1 at one point, and they actually tied it up and got into extra innings. And then the Padres scored like 6 in the top of the 10th. And that pretty much just was the nail in the coffin, ended it right there. I know you were tuning in for the basketball game yesterday, so you have any thoughts on what happened there?
I'm sorry. I think I might have lost you, Brian.
Oh, he's back. I just kind of asked you if you have any thoughts about that basketball game yesterday. I didn't really get to watch much of it.
You know, it was quite a show. It was quite a show. I know AD put the Lakers on his back. We're talking about the Lakers, right? That's what you're asking me?
Yeah, the Lakers-Clippers game. That was all the talk yesterday.
Anthony Davis in the third quarter was clutch. And that I don't know, man. I don't think in reality, I think he's got to be the best in his position.
Anthony Davis?
Yeah.
I mean, he could. I mean, are you considering him a 4 or a 5?
Game. What's that?
Do you consider him a 4 or a 5?
Oh man, I think considering 5, like I think he's a little more skilled than Embiid. You know, people would say that Embiid is.
I like Embiid. I really like watching Jokic play too. Jokic is just kind of nasty on the court.
Yeah, but
I like his passing though. I think anytime you're out there throwing some flashy passes, I mean, you have a soft spot. I have a soft spot for you. It's like Patrick Mahomes when he does like the behind the pass, the back pass, or the no look pass. Like there's something special about those flashy passes, man. You just can't get away from them.
Yeah. I wanna jump back to baseball. Can you give us a quick recap on the A's game?
Yeah, man. So the A's have kind of been struggling a bit, right? So everyone, like, they have this very power oriented team. Oh, the camera keeps getting overexposing you. They have a very I see you repping your A's hat. But they have a lot of power hitters on that team, man. They play the long ball. They try hitting it deep, getting ahead of you by scoring some runs on the long ball, and then get by with their good pitching. And so far this season, it's kind of been a letdown. I mean, the Giants have hit more home runs than them, and the Giants aren't really a power team, right? So you got your guys like Chris Davis. His nickname is literally Crush Davis. Like, you're only getting a nickname called Crush Davis if you're hitting bombs. Like, if you're not hitting bombs, you're not getting the nickname Crush Davis, right? And then they got Matt Olson, who, like, in my opinion, probably one of the most underrated players in baseball. I love Matt Olson. He's the big lefty on first. Matt Chapman, the other Matt, the Matty bro, on third base. They play the corners in the infield. I mean, their bats just got to step it up for them, right? Because I think they got a losing record. I think they're 500 right now. They're 3-3, which I mean, for the A's, it's kind of underwhelming. They did good against the Angels, but then against the Rockies, they went 0-2 against the Rockies. And the Rockies, I mean, they're getting off to a hot start. I mean, I'm a Giants fan. Rockies are in our division, so like, I'm not going to be one to pump up the division rival. But the Rockies have been looking good to start the season.
Yeah. How do you feel about the league in general? I mean, I was hearing. I mean, I know we're going to talk about the bubble a little bit in a little bit, but it's crazy that I heard talks already about them saying that the league is going to have to be postponed. They talk about canceling, and there's just stuff to. It's crazy. It's crazy stuff to play with.
I mean, you have the Marlins, who more than half of their team has been is on quarantine. Actually, I heard today the Marlins, because they're not even at their home. They're not in Miami right now. So they're where they played their last series, which I want to say is Philadelphia. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I believe it is. And they are buying buses and they're going to bus the guys back from Philadelphia to Miami. So there's just going to be some COVID buses on the way home, which is that. I mean, that's definitely going to be interesting. So it it's one of those things that they're really trying to figure out, man, because it's tough. The Marlins aren't playing any games right now. All of theirs have been canceled for the time being. They were trying to sign a bunch of guys at one point to make up for it, and I mean, guys are hesitant. There's guys talking about opting out now for them. Their top prospect, Diaz, he's a second baseman. He's kind of said it came out today that he's thinking of opting out and not playing because, I mean, he's scared, and why wouldn't you be? It's a crazy time going on right now, man. Crazy times. What do you think about it? Just from because I know you don't really watch baseball as much as I do. What do you think from an outsider point of view?
It's it's crazy. It's a risky situation to put everybody in, and there's some issues going on around multiple leagues about opting out. And we won't get into too much details about what others are doing, but I like what the NBA is doing compared to MLB for sure. I feel like NBA is a little more safe. You know, the difficult part about baseball is they're still traveling. I know it's all regional now, and which is why you saw the Dodgers and the Houston Astros go at it, because usually those are two teams that you would only expect to see in the World Series. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, they could occasionally play during the season, but yes, they're very unlikely to play during the season.
Yeah, exactly. But it's crazy how it's happening right now, especially with what's going on with the Astros, or as a nickname you called them. What'd you call them?
Oh, the Asterix.
The Asterix. Okay.
Yeah.
So, and did you watch that game?
I didn't watch. You're talking about the game where the whole suspension came from?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I didn't watch that whole game, but I definitely watched the highlights and heard all about it, man. And I mean, that's kind of the one thing I wanted to talk to you about, right? So Joe Kelly got an 8-game suspension, which in a 60-game season, 8 games is significant, right? Like usually they play 162 games. What'd you say?
Did he throw the ball on purpose like that?
Do you know what? It's crazy because I don't. He was the tying run at the plate, right? And no matter what, at the end of the day, players want to win, right? They're not going to throw a game because of some personal grudge. That's my first point. The second point, Joe Kelly in his career has not been an accurate guy. Actually, this offseason, there's a video that came out of him practicing his pitches in his backyard. Right? He's on quarantine trying to practice in his backyard. He has this giant 30-foot net up, and he missed so bad he missed the entire 30-foot net and put the ball through his window and almost hit his wife.
So yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, you probably didn't know that was Joe Kelly, but that's the same guy.
I did. I saw that.
Yeah,
I knew it was him.
And it's crazy because people are like, "Oh, he did it on purpose, 100%," and it's like, well, did he? If you look at that whole inning, he was not controlling any of his pitches. He actually, for the last batter, he stopped throwing his fastball because he had no control of it. So, I mean, there's a lot of ways to look at it. I mean, then you have the aspect of a lot of fans saying he got more games, suspended for more games than an entire team that cheated did. Like, that's not going to sit well with players, right? And even Bregman on the Astros.
What did the Astros get punished for that? Didn't they get fined $5 million and
So the team got fined, which that's something that falls on the team, not the players that cheated. They lost draft picks, which falls on the team, not the players that cheated. The general manager and head coach got suspended for like a year, which falls on the team, not the players that cheated. And all the players got was have to say, "We did it. We messed up. Sorry." So
yeah, I get that.
There's a lot of upset players right now.
I get that, but all that starts from management and ownership.
The whole cheating scandal. Are you talking about the cheating scandal?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it definitely started with management. And I mean, I know Carlos Beltran, who I believe now is retired, played a huge part of it. He was a player at the time. He was actually a player who was on the Giants at one point. But he apparently had a huge role to do with it. And it's crazy, man. It really, really is crazy. And one thing that I thought was funny is like Alex Bregman, he's the player who got the fastball that went behind his head. He is on record before all this happened that part of the reason he loves baseball is that baseball has a tendency to police itself. So if you notice, he's the one player who's kind of just putting his head down and just taking what they're going through, because he knows in a sense like they messed up and they're gonna have to get policed by the game of baseball essentially.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. That has a lot to do with integrity, you know.
Yeah, man, integrity and like almost in a sense respect for the game of baseball, because like what they did. Do you know what the cheating scandal was about? Do you know what happened? How they were cheating?
Yeah, they're recording signals and
yeah,
it was going on for a while though.
Wasn't
it like 3 years long?
In the game of baseball, stealing signs is something that's always been a part of it, right? Like if I'm standing here and the third base coach is like ear, nose, wipe. I mean,
they had a camera though that was like shooting right at where the catcher's hands were, didn't they?
Yeah, so that's the problem is because they use technology. I mean, stealing signs when the coach is just out here doing that stuff, like we were doing that in Little League. Like we would be watching the other coach and like if we noticed every time he swiped his left arm, the kid stole. Like me playing catcher, I'd be looking over like, okay, he swiped left arm. I got to get ready to throw down to second. So stealing signs is a part of the game. The problem is how they were stealing signs. And like you mentioned, they had a camera zoomed right in on the catcher's hand. So they're watching what pitches are coming. And then that's where you get the trash can banging from. So it definitely was an interesting whole situation. I'm glad it's in the past. Hopefully it is the past and we don't see any more of it. But this whole Joe Kelly suspension and how people react further on as it goes will be very interesting to follow for the rest of the season.
What do you think? What do you think should happen to the players?
The Astro players? Yeah. I mean, it's hard to say because you can't suspend the whole team, right? So I understand why they did what they did, why it was just like a pardon type of thing, like just apologize, admit to it, and we'll let you guys go. So I understand why they did that. It just, there was never going to be a good solution to it.
Yeah.
So I don't think they went about it the best they did. I think the commissioner at one point said they're just playing for a piece of metal. Like they'll get over it in a sense. Which, I mean, if you're calling a World Series ring, a championship, just a piece of metal, like the whole point of why they're playing the sport is going over their commissioner's head.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, you're a big NFL basketball guy. Like, imagine all those Warriors championships they won. The commissioner, like Adam Silver, is just like, Oh, it's just a piece of metal. Nobody cares. Like what? Like they pay these players millions of dollars in hopes that they win that piece of metal.
Yeah, it's more than just a piece of metal.
Exactly. It means a lot.
Prestigious.
So, I mean, we could talk about the commissioner of baseball all day and his shortcomings, but let's keep this story going. What do we have next?
Let's hope that all the leagues, are more honest and they show a little more integrity moving forward, and that goes all around because there's a lot of scandals in a lot of sports, honestly.
Oh yeah,
but we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about the awesomeness stuff that's been happening, and the NBA.
Yeah,
it is exciting. It is exciting right now, and just what was it? 2 games happened yesterday. We had the Jazz versus the Pelicans, which I believe the Pelicans just crushed the Jazz.
It ended up being pretty close. Did you see that score?
I know. I saw the end. They almost came back.
Yeah, it was 106-104 at the end.
I know. I was about to say, but for the most part, though, it wasn't much of a game until towards the end there.
I mean, you got Zion,
and then yeah. So also we had the Lakers and the Clippers.
Yeah, that
was
the
matchup. Yeah, that was what everybody was waiting for. That was
the game.
Yeah,
the 2 definitely. Super teams.
Yep, LeBron didn't even have a great game. He had an average game for LeBron. It was a good game, but it was an average game for LeBron. So imagine the Clippers were already said that they're going to be one of the best teams in the league this year. Exactly. They had quite a few distractions coming in. I think it's important right now, especially if you're the Clippers. This is where they got to persevere. Right?
Oh, yeah, dude. Now, you gotta keep going.
They needed to make a statement, and unfortunately they fell short of that. But LeBron, I don't know if you saw, but LeBron he made Kawhi look average out there.
Yeah, I mean, dude, the crazy part.
And again, LeBron did not have a crazy game or anything like that.
That's how he's made his career, though. LeBron's like a freak athlete, man. Like, it's crazy in a sense to think we have LeBron, and I'm gonna bring it back to baseball for half a second, and Mike Trout playing at the same time, because they're 2 guys doing things in the sport that you don't normally see. Like Mike Trout's just breaking records every time he steps on a field, and LeBron to still be breaking records and being as dominant as he is at his age is just crazy to even think about.
Yeah, and I don't want to take anything away from Kawhi because he still put up some good numbers.
No, for sure.
He had 28 points. He had 4 assists and 3 rebounds. Okay, it's just I don't know. There's something about that LeBron presence. LeBron had 11 rebounds, 7 assists, 16 points.
I saw something on Twitter last night that really surprised me, and it was Kuzma playing defense. They had Kuzma on Kawhi quite a bit, and Kuzma was playing pretty good defense, man. Kawhi is one of those players that you can't just walk up and guard. You have to know what you're doing to guard a Kawhi, to guard a LeBron type player. And Kuzma, not really a guy known for his defense, was showing up last night.
Yeah. Somebody about showing up though. B.I. Brandon Ingram for the Pelicans.
That's crazy to me from the Pelicans.
I know. It's crazy to say that. He had 33 minutes, 8 rebounds. He didn't have any assists, 23 points. He's definitely going to be, in my opinion, probably the most improved player. I really like what's going on with that team. Now Zion, he only played for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
He had 1 assist and 13 points.
Dang.
And I know he's high flying. He's got a lot of capability, but I'm waiting to see
part of that is when you're an athlete of Zion's type, you get so much attention for who you are.
Yeah. That's for sure.
Even if he was just if he was just a decoy, defenses are going to be scared of him just because he's a freak athlete.
Oh yeah.
When you're that athletically gifted, man, you being on court almost in a sense does more than some like other guys playing. Like that's the thing you see in football too. You have a Julio Jones on the football field. Like think about those Falcons teams. They've always had a second receiver who's gone off, Roddy White, and now it's Calvin Ridley. Like they always have somebody opposite of Julio Jones going off because teams are so scared of Julio Jones. The other guy's just beating them constantly.
Yeah, but Roddy White is a monster within
Oh,
himself.
don't get me wrong. Roddy White was a monster. I loved Roddy White. Same with Calvin Ridley. Calvin Ridley, I think, is super underrated. But
I forgot to change my hat because now we're talking about basketball, and I know you're mentioning sports. Or I'm sorry, you're mentioning football.
I'm bouncing all over the place, man.
I know you are. I want to cover a couple quick games from today though. We had quite a shootout with the Grizzlies and the Trailblazers. I know you're a big Ja Morant fan.
I like myself some Ja Morant. I also like some Damian Lillard. He's a Raiders fan.
Yeah, he's from Oakland native. Ja Morant, 41 minutes. He played a long game. 41 minutes, 5 rebounds, 11 assists, 22 points. The stunner from the Grizzlies right here, Jaren Jackson.
Oh.
43 minutes, 3 rebounds, 33 points.
Dang, that actually surprises me, man.
This was a shootout. 135-140. Portland wins.
There's like no defense being played.
But it was quite a game. Jonas Valanciunas, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 16 points. You know, and then, but this Trailblazers team, man, their offense is crazy. CJ McCollum, 3 rebounds, 6 assists, 33 points. Damian Lillard, 5 rebounds, 9 assists, 29 points. Carmelo, 21 points.
Carmelo with the 20?
If they can keep this up, this is a team that you might want to be worried about.
The Blazers? Dude,
the Blazers.
The crazy part with this bubble is you have to be worried about everyone right now. Like, you took a couple months off. Like, everyone kind of, like, even if you were a hot team, you cooled down during that quarantine. So, like, anybody who shows up with the right mindset could just show up and surprise, man.
Oh, yeah. Who do you think has the most advantage right now?
I would say it would be like almost a mid-level playoff team. I'm not sure all the teams there, but like the top teams, I feel like might feel too comfortable.
Yeah.
Like they might be going into that same mindset they had in the season where they're like, oh, we're on cruise control. We got this. It's those like mid-level teams that people aren't really thinking about that I would be scared of right now.
Yep.
Like they can come in and do damage.
I know that there's a lot of good teams right now in the league. And I think, in my opinion, the teams that have a lot of youth are probably a little less ready for this type of situation.
For sure.
Where, you know, the teams like the Lakers are very well experienced and nobody's more mentally ready than LeBron. And I probably sound like a huge LeBron fan today, but you know, that guy does everything right.
Yeah. Everything.
Like there's nobody I can't think of anybody who knows how to who has better healthy habits than that guy right there. He knows everything, you know, he knows how to take care of his mind, his body, and everything.
Dude, everything. His core values. I mean, like, dude, he's like one of the most respectful players if you think about it.
Yep.
Like it's crazy what he does on court, man. And it's not even the on the court stuff he does; it's the off the court stuff, man.
Yeah.
He's like there for his family.
That's what makes it so hard for me to hate him. I don't hate him.
Oh yeah, no.
I can't hate him.
I can't
because he's such a good guy.
No, you know? Yeah. There's people like that.
Even though I'm a Warriors fan, obviously I root against LeBron all the time.
Constantly.
But I like him off the court no matter what. And everything I've seen him doing is, you know, he exhibits every aspect, I think, of our core values that we teach, you know. So he's definitely somebody that we wanna you know, kind of mimic your game after if that's what you guys want to do.
And it's like, I mean, what really gets me about LeBron is his off the court stuff, because like baseball's equivalent to LeBron is probably Mike Trout, right? Mike Trout's huge. But what LeBron does off the court, what you don't see Mike Trout, is you see him talking, you see him like trying to do things. Not that Mike Trout doesn't try helping his community and he doesn't do this stuff. It's just Mike Trout's a quiet guy.
Yeah.
Like he helps out the community, but he does it quietly. He does all this quietly. But LeBron, in a sense, and I don't think he does it for popularity because everybody knows who LeBron is. Whether you know him because of his shoes, you know him because everyone's talking about him in sports, or you can almost not turn a TV on without hearing LeBron's name in some way. Like you hear about LeBron and the good he does with that is just it's amazing. It really is.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Steph is one of those guys too.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Throw that in there
for sure.
And I hope Bill's watching so he can give me some kudos. But for sure, he's definitely a very very good influence for the youth in our area here.
They're great role models. I mean, especially in this area with how much like Warriors presence there are, where they're the local basketball team for us. Like he's a great role model for them to look up to. He's respectful. He plays golf. Like what a better game to play, right?
Yeah, definitely. I want to go back real quick to the question, and go back to NBA. I want to lead back to. I know there's some cool stuff that's like not necessarily basketball related going on at the bubble that some of the rookies are doing and some of the other players are doing. But before we jump into that, I want to hear from you because I've watched a couple of them and I think they're really cool. And I'm hoping you can tell us a little bit more about them. But the storyline, there's so many storylines I think in baseball or basketball right now.
Yeah.
So like, can the Raptors, continue to hold? Especially with the way that the Trailblazers are playing right now. The Rockets, can they turn it around? They need to do something right now. Is Mike D'Antoni going to get fired? If he doesn't do something, this is his time. He needs to do something right now. The Bucks.
Wait, one second. I want to throw something out about that one. I got to throw something out about the Raptors.
Come back? Can Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum?
I got to say something about the Raptors. How are you going to fire a coach 1 year removed from winning the championship?
No, the Rockets coach.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, he's the Rockets coach. You're right. Dude, honestly.
The Rockets coach. They're playing the Mavericks right now as we speak. They're leading.
Yeah.
25-20 as we speak.
I think the Rockets are interesting because didn't they trade away all their big guys?
Yeah.
Like they're a super small team, aren't they?
Yeah, like Jazz. I know Donovan Mitchell's a force too, so there's a lot of teams right now. The Pelicans, I'd love to see the Pelicans, honestly.
They're that young team though, so that's the thing. Like I think being a young team almost might help you right now because it's a different situation. Like in a sense,
Jimmy Butler carried the Heat. There's so many storylines right now in basketball. It's crazy.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think the youngness almost helps teams right now because the vets are used to like a normal season, like how it's supposed to go. So they may be thrown off a little bit, be like, whoa, like what's going on? This isn't what I'm used to. While a rookie or a first or second year player or someone who hasn't been to the playoffs really before, like this doesn't seem weird to them. It's just how it is.
What do you think the rookies have to do, to be successful and be like mentally ready, mentally healthy?
I mean, it's hard for me to speak on that. Like, I haven't been to the playoffs, right? There's a reason I'm here talking about.
What do you think? Something that they would have to do, like,
for me,
in my opinion, they're all gonna have. They literally need to be in their bubble.
Yeah, no, and especially with them being in a bubble right now, you really need to be able to like find a way to get some sort of like normal sense of like day-to-day life. Like, you can't really go do whatever you want. Like, it's hard. Like, I love playing adult softball and I haven't been able to play in months. And like, to me, that's kind of throwing my like weekly grind off because I'm not doing what I'm used to. And for these players, a lot of their habits, they have to, in a sense, break them to be in the quarantine, to be in the bubble. So it's just trying to find a way to get comfortable. And I think a couple players have found that on YouTube, right? I know you kind of alluded to it a little earlier, but like JaVale McGee and Thibault, or I think his name is Mateus Thibault, they've both
Or taste
become
like.
like they've both become like daily vloggers inside the bubble. And I mean,
Yeah,
if you think about it, that fills a lot of time because not only are you out there recording, you want to do stuff to get it on the video. And then you also have to put time to edit. So when you're in that alone time, you're editing. So I think in a sense that's helping players like JaVale McGee and Thibault just kind of find a way to use their time and not get bored and not get stuck in their own head.
yeah. I think it was pretty cool to watch those.
Oh, for
It was a
sure.
lot of fun.
I haven't really watched JaVale McGee's much, but I've watched all of Thibault's. I'm really enjoying them, man. It's really cool because it's a perspective you never get to see.
Yeah, definitely.
Like you don't get to see the behind the scenes of what's going on in the bubble. Like Thibault's showing like what they're getting, like what their day to day life is like, how often they're getting tested. That's crazy to me.
Definitely, definitely. What do you think is like? So there's differences in the way the NBA and the MLB are handling um, their leagues. As a fan, which method do you prefer? Do you prefer that kind of bubble method? I find it pretty difficult. It'd probably be pretty difficult to get a bubble type of method for baseball. But
Yeah, there's a reason baseball didn't do a bubble. Because like if you think about it,
yeah,
for each basketball team, you have what, 15 guys on the roster? I don't know how much is on the roster in NBA. It's about
yes,
15 though, right? So, but like
yes,
with players and coaches combined, it's probably less than 30 a team, right?
exactly.
Yeah. And then for baseball, for example, just the players alone on a roster right now is 30. And that doesn't include coaching staffs. And like a team like the Giants have 15 coaches on staff along with their 30 players. So just for coaches and players, that's 45 for one team, not including like the trainers and all that other stuff, the broadcasters, all those things. Like, so it wasn't practical to do in baseball. But I definitely think the NBA bubble is better than baseball because that's why you've seen an outbreak already on one team in baseball, and you haven't seen an outbreak on in the bubble.
And the bubble, they have the cool rings.
They got the cool rings, right? But yeah, like in baseball, we have the Miami Marlins who more than half their team have tested positive. So like because of that, like the team they played has been delayed, and now two guys on that team has tested positive, so they're not playing any games. There's like 4 or 5 teams not playing any games right now just because they got canceled.
Yeah.
So you definitely see the
Well,
advantages for one way over the other.
yeah, that's for sure. Um, there are a few games going on today. Um, so the Bucks beat the Celtics today, 119, 112.
Got the Greek
Suns
freak.
overcame the Wizards, 125 to 112. Magic beats the Net, 128, 118. And the Rockets and the Mavericks. I'm interested. I'm taking this a little bit back to basketball real quick because those are going on right as we speak.
Yep.
But the Mavericks and the Rockets, James Harden is having himself a game right now. He's already 23 points in. They're still in the first quarter. Kristaps is doing pretty well. Porzingis, he's dropping 13. And I'm interested to see how these two teams play out. I'm interested to see Luka and Kristaps see how. Yeah, he's definitely one of my favorite players in the league right now.
No, it's hard to not like him. I mean, the crazy part is he doesn't even like look the part of a crazy athlete. Like he's not all ripped and like all big. He just almost in a sense just looks like a normal dude. And he's just out there breaking ankles and
definitely. He makes me
rim.
feel like I can do it.
Hey, those are the best athletes, man. It's like
I think I lost you, Brian.
It's like the Prince Fielder in baseball. Like those big like Prince
I think
Fielder.
I lost you there.
Oh, you're there. You're back. But I was comparing it to like Prince Fielder in baseball. Like even Pablo Sandoval now, they're just guys that like look out of shape, but then you see them play sometimes and you're like, dang, like this guy's good. So yeah, it's crazy what's been going on in basketball, man. How many teams are in the bubble? Do you know? I don't know that off the top of my head.
I think there was 16 teams invited.
So 16. The Magic's that good to get invited?
Who was that?
You said the Magic was playing, right?
The Magic got invited.
Dang, I did not know the Magic was doing that well. Who do they have on their team? Aaron Gordon?
The Magic, they're kind of an underrated team.
They're scrappy.
They got a lot of youth.
Okay.
They are scrappy, but Aaron Gordon is still there. Vucevic is probably their guy right now. Yep, he's their guy. Evan Fournier, 24 points. Nikola Vucevic, 22 points. Aaron Gordon, 10 points. They did nudge out a win.
How about that?
Michael Carter Williams only got 6 points.
Sometimes it's those scrappy teams you got to worry about, man.
Yep. And Orlando's a young team. They have some potential. I think, Markelle Fultz put up, he had 2 rebounds, 6 assists, 6 points. So they have some potential, but they're still young, They're still young guys.
Yep, it makes sense.
Really quickly, we're getting close towards the end of the show. I want to get into one of my favorite sports, football.
Oh, talk some football. I got my Raiders.
Just real quick. Did you hear NFL gave Antonio Brown an 8-game suspension?
Yes, I did hear that, and
I actually want him to come back though.
My hot take is he's done.
Yeah, I think everybody has the ability to if you make a mistake, you can come back from that, and it's I know some of the stuff that he's been putting out there is a little crazy. Hopefully he's learned from his mistakes, and he's going to use this time to be a good sport, show proper sportsmanship, and definitely respect his team and his coaches, and I think this could be a good opportunity for him to show, because he's kind of, with some of the recent things he said, he's kind of showing that he doesn't know anything outside of football as he expected. So now that he realizes that, hopefully he comes back a little bit to reality and starts being humble and again starts showing respect and being a good sport and being a proper role model. He has ability. He's a huge playmaking ability. I wouldn't mind seeing him come back. Obviously, I don't want him in same division as Carolina, but.
See, I agree with what you said, right? Like, second chances are important. Like, people can have a change of mindset. They can learn to respect people, right? And I fully agree with that. And Antonio Brown, man, he's 32 years old, and there's now 3 organizations he's been a head case for. Think about it. He pushed himself out of Pittsburgh. He forced himself out of Oakland, and then he got sent out of New England for situations that happened.
The whole point is you can come back.
Oh, for sure.
You can come back.
And I hope he does. But my worry is that a team won't be willing to give him a chance.
Go with the flow, Brian. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to Sports Talk Live. It was great having you. Tune in next week as we'll go live on Facebook as well. Can't wait to see you guys for some more Sports Talk.
Goodbye.